Mrs. McDowell is was Mrs. Popkin's dearest friend. Mrs. McDowell is a food scientist from Cryback. Mrs. McDowell is an exceptionally meticulous woman who said to Duchess, Mrs. Popkin, "Now, I'm just so amazed at the level of clutter you can stand." Mrs. Popkin took it the best possible way. But the truth is, sitting in our kitchen, we have a fairly high level of clutter acceptability. It's kind of spun into this little acronym around spring cleaning time that we call AFL-CIO. Not about the union. Acceptable filth level. Clean it out. The acceptable filth level in my house is too high. Turn it down a little bit. Earlier last week, I wheeled up to the karate place to pick up the boys. Just had the car professionally cleaned. Hunter Popkin jumped in and said, "Dad, did we get a new car?" "No, it's just clean." I have a man cave, also known as a garage. It is spotless and meticulous. Yet somehow, stuff keeps piling up in there. This week, 2 weeks ago, a drum set shows up in my man cave. Why is there a drum set in my man cave? My 9-year-old wants to play the drums, and he's in the man cave. A man cave is a place of respite and order, not a place of drums. The good news is I don't know that I'll ever have another kidney stone. Sound just echoes through there. It's unbelievable. AFL-CIO. The acceptable filth level has gotten out of control in my man cave. The boys are bringing their airsoft guns. The boys have got the drum set. The boys are now hanging out in the man cave. Duchess is now calling it the Cub Cave. Now all the boys in the neighborhood are bringing their guitars over and hanging out in the man cave. There's Gatorade and RC Cola. It's not a man cave anymore. And they're cluttering it up with their little boy filth. The acceptable filth level is too high. Clean it out. CIO. Speaking of little boys, and the Duchess has asked I not tell you this. The Duchess has asked I not share this with you. But because it's an intimate group, I believe I will. Little boys and housebreaking. It's like housebreaking a beagle. It's not like housebreaking a cat. My gentlemen have dealt with aim issues. My gentlemen have dealt with lid up or down issues. The whole lid up or down thing. But when you're 9, it doesn't seem that big a deal. So they've gotten into the habit of leaving it up all the time, much to Mrs. Popkin's dismay. She does not like it being up, especially if she sits in the middle of the night and splashes down. That's happened. But last week was the perfect storm. Last week we had a party. There were a lot of little boys around, but I know the guilty party. There were a lot of little boys around working on their aim, working on their issues. We've talked a lot at our house about the concept of courtesy flush. Jacob Campbell Todd Popkin, age 9, left what could only be described as a cannonball. The problem is, Jacob Campbell Todd Popkin left it in such a manner that the next guest went in and didn't see it. So from under the gap, I could see shoes. You'll have to envision these as women's underwear because Duchess wouldn't let me take those out today. And under the door, I could see the shoes and the underwear and hear the shrieking. The shrieking brought me. Pitter, patter, pitter, patter. I could see the little gap. I could see the shoes. I could see the underwear. And I could see water cascading, pouring in copious amounts. Water pouring out. And my client's wife standing there, and her shoes and her underwear and everything. Not everything, but a lot of things. Not everything. You take my meaning? AFL, our acceptable filth level. We gotta clean it out, baby.